Hello, Think Keto family, welcome back. Today, we're gonna be making my personal kryptonite, New York style cheesecake. If this is your first time with us, don't forget, hit the subscribe button below and the bell icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. Let's get started, guys. Alright, lovelies, as a reminder, everything I'm using today will be listed down in the description below. And then at the end of the video will be a nutritional information card so you know what to expect with this yummy cheesecake. It is so creamy. You're going to love this, I promise. Alright, so we're going to start off making the crust first. I have 2 cups of almond flour sifted, and as always, make sure you sift your powders and your flours. You don't want any lumps or bumps in there. And to that, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of sweetener. I like to use granular monk fruit for this. You can use your sweetener of choice. Keep in mind not all sweeteners sweeten at the same rate, so you might need to add or subtract a little bit of it to come out how you like it. Into that, I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Alright, we're going to stir our dry ingredients together really good. Now that those are stirred, we're going to add the wet ingredients. I got 6 tablespoons of melted butter. Unsalted butter, you don't want to put salted in this. And a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Alright, now we're going to combine all this. We're going to get the batter for our crust. It may not look like it's going to combine, but keep working at it. It does combine together to create a really nice batter for your crust. It seems like it's dry at first, but it all works out, I promise. Alright, now that we got that all mixed together, we're going to go ahead and put it in the bottom of our springform pan. I've got a 9-inch springform pan here. We're going to pop that in, then we're going to press it in, smooth it down, and make our crust. And you can use the back of a spoon or a spatula for this, but I find my fingers work easiest. We're just going to push it all down nice and firmly to fill any voids that might be underneath it. When you're making this, press that crust up the sides a little bit. I usually do about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, whatever I have enough extra dough to do. That'll help keep that cheesecake in place on your crust in the end. And you don't have to be too meticulous with this. If it's a little bumpy, a little lumpy on the top, that won't matter because your cheesecake's going to cover it anyways. I know I'm a touch OCD sometimes, so I try to make it as smooth as possible, but for this, it really doesn't matter at all. Alright, so I got that crust in there all nice and pressed down firmly. I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator. I need to refrigerate for about 20 minutes. So I find while I'm making the cheesecake portion, it usually ends up being the right amount of time. Alright, put this up. So to start with, we have 5 8-ounce packages of Philadelphia cream cheese. You want these to be softened to room temperature. I've had these sitting on the counter open like this for a few hours now, so they're good to go. As a note, if you don't have time to let them sit out and soften, I have been known to take them out of the package, put them in a bowl, and soften each one up in the microwave for about 30 seconds. It does work. So I'm going to stick these in my stand mixer here. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're just going to drop this in and we're going to beat these for a couple minutes until it's light and fluffy. Make sure you scrape down the sides as needed if that cheesecake starts walking up the sides. It's not going to do much good to beat it because it ain't touching it, right? So we've successfully beaten up our cream cheese a little bit there. Next we're going to add the sweetener. For the sweetener here, I like to use the Pure Stevia. It has the best flavor, and I found that the granular sometimes stays just a little bit gritty in the cheesecake. Not terrible. I've used it before, the monk fruit granular, but I find I like the stevia better. It's a little more powdery, incorporates a little bit better. The trick here is to do this very slowly. Make sure your mixer is set to low. You don't want to go on fast and just slowly incorporate the powdered sweetener in there. If you got your mixture too high, or if you dump too much of it in at one time, it's just going to go poof. You'll have a cloud of sweetener in your kitchen. So we're going to drop this and start it on low and slowly add our sweetener in. Alright, we got our sweetener incorporated and avoided the sweet cloud in the kitchen. Next ingredient that we're going to add in here is going to be 8 ounces of sour cream. After the sour cream, I'm going to add some vanilla extract. I have a tablespoon of vanilla. And then something I like to use, I get Sweet Drops vanilla cream here. I like to squeeze about a half a dropper in. Just gives a really smooth vanilla flavor. Alright, we'll mix that together. Last ingredient, we're almost done getting this mixed together. So for this, I have 5 eggs. I already cracked them in a bowl and left them to sit for a couple hours to get to room temperature. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the mixer on low and slowly pour these in. Try and get, about one at a time as best you can. If you want to, you can separate this out into 5 bowls and do it that way. I'm not going to put it in 5 different bowls and line them up, but you can if you want to. Again, make sure this is low and beat them in until they're just incorporated. You don't want to overbeat these. Alright, those eggs are all beaten in. And I'm just scraping down the sides and the bottom to make sure everything got incorporated together. And meanwhile, my timer just went off. The crust has been in the refrigerator for 20 minutes. I'm going to get that out so we can finish this up. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pour this batter over the crust in our springform pan. Alright, so I poured all the batter in here and scraped down the sides of the bowl to get all that yummy batter in here. Alright, you can tap this slightly to make sure there's no voids on the sides, any bubbles in the middle. Alright, I think I got most of the bubbles out of that. I've already preheated my oven to 325. We're going to stick this in and bake it for 50 to 60 minutes. So I'll see you guys back in a little bit. I think I forgot to mention the cheesecake. You'll know it's done when it's lightly browned on the edges and a little bit jiggly in the middle but firm. I know that's a little bit vague, but you'll know what I'm talking about. After 50 to 60 minutes, you'll jiggle it a little bit. You'll see the center just barely moves. It's got light browning on the edges. Alright guys, I'll see y'all back in a little bit. Alright guys and gals, so the cheesecake is now out of the oven. I baked it for 65 minutes and then turned the oven off, cracked the oven door open, and let it sit in the oven for about an hour. And then once that sat in the oven for an hour, I put it on the countertop and let it sit for another hour to finish cooling off. And you see, I only got one small crack in the very center there. It's lightly browned on the edges. It's absolutely gorgeous. So, what we do now is the hardest part. We put it in the refrigerator and let it sit overnight in the refrigerator to finish hardening up. I would love to tear into this now, but unfortunately I know I have to wait, so I'll have it tomorrow for dessert. So I'm going to see you back tomorrow and put this in the refrigerator to cool down. Alright guys and gals, the moment of truth has arrived. This cheesecake sat in the refrigerator overnight and has hardened up beautifully. I did get a very tiny crack in the very center there, but it's very shallow, and once you put some strawberry topping or something like that on it, it won't even be noticeable. Let's see how this bad boy turned out, shall we? That is absolutely perfect. Look at that. All right. There we go, all done. All right, now that that's out, the finishing touch. If you guys haven't seen my other video yet for the strawberry topping, cheesecake is the reason I made it. It is just, there's nothing better with cheesecake than strawberries. And that thickened up nicely just like I wanted it. I didn't want any runniness to go down around it. I want a nice thick topping. Now, if you guys will excuse me, I'm going to destroy this because cheesecake is my #1 weakness. I cannot resist it. This is on point, guys. Try this recipe out. Let me know what you think of it. Don't forget, leave me a thumbs up down below and feel free to share this recipe with anyone that you know can use a great low-carb cheesecake recipe. Until next time, guys. Bye.